Ayan, hello. Hello, hello. Mic test, mic test.
Parang hindi na tayo marunong usapang
Usapang.
Ed.
Nakakapanibago. Magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Kamusta po kayo? Sa ating mga kausapang Ed. Andito na naman tayo. Kasama ko of course si Dr. D.
At si Attorney E.
Dito sa Usapang Ed. Yay!
Yan. O, diba? Sobra tayong saya ngayong gabi. Kasi bukod sa Usapang Ed sa likod natin, may Usapang Ed pa tayong...
Oh, may mug pa tayo. Mug.
Yun talaga.
Bago yung mugs natin.
Sige.
Kamusta? Kamusta ka, Doc D?
Oo nga eh. We just arrived here siguro 10 minutes ago. No? Pareho tayong ang dami-daming trabaho.
Ang daming
Oo,
trabaho.
daming nangyayari.
Parang hindi nagbakasyon.
Oo, ang daming nangyayari. Pero nakikita ko pa rin, nandito pa rin ang ating mga top fans na sina Royce Torres, Girly Mabasa, Annie Kagioa, Baguio City.
Si Miss Nelda Sanggalang. Oh, good evening. Good evening sa inyo, Miss Annie. And si Zets Painor. Oh, magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Hindi nyo kami nakakalimutan. Nakala ko nakalimutan na tayo kasi medyo...
Actually, nung May 8, yung ating last na episode, we had a very interesting session about Usapang Tech Voc.
Yes.
At napakaganda ng naging discussion natin with Father June Inocencio and Attorney Mick Engracia of Unity Vet. No? So, actually, nireview ko yun eh. Yung sabi ko nga sa'yo, di ba? Nung nireview ko yung episode, ang daming na-unearth na talagang mahalagang pag-uusap. And then after that, nagkaroon ng Senate hearing on the strengthened senior high school. At syempre, nandun din si Father June. At pinadala niya nga sa akin yung link dun sa mga sinasabi niya na pareho nung ating mga naging proposals na sinasabi niya rito during the show on the senior high school program, which will have a very a revision, a strengthening of the Tech Pro track.
Actually, nakita ko si TESDA Director General Kiko. Secretary Kiko Benitez. Kita ko siya this week lang, parang Monday yata. Sabi niya, nahin kong trabaho.
Sabi niya, oo, nasa ano ko pa naman siya. In my mind, isa yan sa mga sana kausapin natin soon dito sa programa. Kasi nagkaroon din siya ng, he was also one of those who were pushing for the ECCD law, no? The strengthening ECCD at batas na siya, napirmahan na ng ating Pangulo. So, I think EDCOM 2 is doing a lot of good work, really.
Oo. Sana ma-guest natin dito si Secretary Kiko Benitez.
Yes.
Munti ko na sabihin na Kong Kiko Benitez.
Okay, hanggang ngayon, Kong pa rin tapos.
Oo,
Pero ito, tunay na Kong. Si Kong Roman Romulo, who won another term.
Oh, congratulations.
Na isa rin yan, sana in the future, actually, kokontakin na talaga natin siya. Kasi isa yan sa very, very, committed sa pagsulong ng K-6 support for private schools. Non-stop yan. Si Kong Roman. So,
kausapin na natin bago siya maging busy kasi bago matapos meron pa sila hanggang June, June 30 yung 19th Congress. No? Bago magsimula yung 20th Congress. Sana makausap natin si Kong Roman para maikwento niya sa atin what's his plan, what's his agenda for education in the next 3 years for the 20th Congress. No? Because everyone aligns sa ating lahat, COCOPEA, lahat ng mga organizations na may kinalaman sa education policy. Of course, they align with the legislative calendar. So meron tayong 3 years na naman to propose bills and pass them. And hopefully, we choose those that are of the greater impact sa ating education sector. No? Okay, so meron tayong guest ngayon.
Wala tayong guest. Ang episode natin is on Usapang Eleksyon. No?
Usapang eleksyon.
So again,
okay.
We are unapologetic that this is considered political. No?
Yes.
But of course, we don't apologize for that. No? Kasi very important sa atin itong result ng election at lahat ng magiging pagbabantay natin sa mga nanalo nitong halalan, not just for senators but even for the positions in the house, yung mga congressman natin, at even local government, no? Kasi lahat 'yan maraming maitutulong sa ating mga advocacies for education.
Tama. And every election is a learning experience for everyone. Candidates, for the government, for the electorate. No? So, pag-usapan din natin yun. Kamusta ba yung naging pag-hold ng elections? Siyempre, and let's also talk about surveys. No? Usap-usapan yan. Naging parang resulta sa mga surveys. Ibang-iba dun sa actual na lumabas. And siguro, ano yung aasahan natin sa mga nanalo? Sabi nga ng mga ibang kandidato, well, si Senator Kiko, Pangilinan, sabi niya, magsisimula pa lang ang totoong laban. No? Yung isabihin, hindi yan natatapos sa pagkapanalo mo sa election, but dealing with the many problems in the country. And of course, sisingit na natin yung ating mga issues sa education.
Yes, gusto kong pick upin yun, no? Kasi minsan tayo na mga botante, after ng elections, parang we forget, no, our role in nation building, if for lack of a better term, no. In other words, parang siguro yung pagbabantay, no, nung ating mga naging nahalal, and then we don't forget our sectors, no. Kaya nung napanood ko yung isang interview, no, ni Congresswoman na siya ngayon, Laila De Lima, no, na isa din sa siguro in the future imbitahin natin as the party representing the party list, mamamayang liberal. Nung kinukwento niya lahat ng advocacies, no, dadalhin nila for the different sectors, hindi ko narinig yung sa education. So sabi niya, sige, so para sa mga magsasaka, ito yung ano natin, para sa mga labor, urban poor communities, maraming napag-usapan na kailangan, which is very true to what party list organizations should really be, which is really for the marginalized sectors, Pero dati Attorney Erap, alam mo to, lagi nating sinasabi, 'di ba yung private ed marginalized sector din naman talaga.
As compared to government, kasi in terms of resources, ang resources ay nasa government, 'di ba? Pero alam mo, tama ka dun makikita mo agad ano yung leanings, ano yung inclinations and passions ng ating mga bagong mga senators, lalo na yung mga nag-assume ng mga national positions, congressman. Makikita mo ano yung passion nila. Pero sa totoo lang, of course, they will pursue yung saan talaga yung puso nila. Pero syempre, trabaho ng isang senador or congressman, syempre i-manage niya, paano siya makikinig sa taong bayan, paano niya i-manage o ano yung naririnig niya. At hindi lang kung ano yung popular, kundi ano talaga yung mga sinasabi ng bawat sektor at ano yung kailangan na intervention through legislation, diba? Or even not filing anything is also part of diba, controlling na hindi kailangan ng batas but more on implementation. Yan ang trabaho talaga ng mga diba? Senador at congressman.
Sige, para tayo, sige, organize tayo ng konti.
Okay.
Sige, so dun muna tayo sa mga senators na nanalo.
Sige.
Among the 12
tayo
na nanalo.
Tayo na ba magpo-proclaim? Sa Sabado?
Hindi ba? So among
Sabado.
the 12 na very likely, of course, obviously, will be proclaimed. Sino sa kanila ang very clearly nagsabi ng mga na part of the agenda niya ay yung education crisis or the learning crisis or solving our, all of these issues in education among the 12?
Ako, hindi ko narinig specifically yung kanilang agenda and platforms for education, pero ibabase ko na lang dun sa
Track record siguro.
Track record tsaka yung kanilang track record before ng mga lalo na yung mga dating senador. Una si Bam, no? Because Senator Bam was chairman of the Committee on Basic Education. Dati yung basic tsaka higher ed, I think nung siya magkasama yun kung di ako nagkakamali. So I was appearing then in many of his hearings in the Senate. So, I'm sure nasusundan niya lahat yon, no? Yung free, he filed free higher ed noon na eventually naging universal access to quality tertiary education. And marami nun sa sa committee niya. So, I'm sure sa sa agenda niya ang education.
So, masaya tayo doon, no? Kasi yung Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, yun ang nagresulta ng free tuition sa SUCs at LUCs at tertiary education subsidy na
Oo.
pwedeng ibigay sa mga private school students na wala sa SUCs, LUCs.
Correct.
Pero nagkaroon ng maraming implementation issues, no? Na sana ito talaga yung magpapagtuunan ng pansin ni Senator Bam. Especially because EDCOM naman, no, gave a lot of recommendations. For example, we were saying sana mas magkaroon ng prioritization sa mga kurso na talagang may urgency na kailangan ng ating bayan. Pwede rin sigurong bigyan ng insentibo ang mga higher education institutions na talagang maganda ang kalidad, no? Kasi, and then of course, those who are low income groups ang mabigyan ng priority.
Yeah.
So lahat yan implementation issues. Pas yung student loan, no? Marami
Hindi pa rin.
siguro hindi nakakaalam na yung Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, may component yan ng student loan para sa mga private school students to access the loan from government para nga makapag-aral sila sa gusto nilang eskwelahan. But dahil hindi yun na-implement, 'di ba? Parang unfairly nabigyan yung free tuition nga, no, sa SUCs, LUCs, unfairly for lack of a better term kasi nga dapat yung choice is not compromised kasi you have a menu, no, of subsidy programs in this law.
Yes. Ang pinag-uusapan po namin ay yung Republic Act 10931, no? Yung Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education. Actually, natatandaan ko noon because when it was proposed, ano yan free higher education, free tuition in higher education in state universities. Ibig sabihin sa government lang. Medyo naging mahaba rin ang deliberation noon sa committee. Of course, COCOPEA pushed for parity. Magkaroon din ng at least kahit hindi free, hindi katulad sa SUCs, pero magkaroon naman ng subsidy for students in private higher education institutions. Kaya nagresulta nga sa tertiary education subsidy. Pero tama ka, marami pang this is another opportunity this coming 20th Congress to look at implementation problems. Ano pa yung pwede natin idagdag doon kung kailangan amendahan. I think yung yung no looks yun ang isang, 'di ba? Dapat tingnan
Yes.
parang dehado yung mga estudyante na nasa lugar ng merong state universities and local colleges yung nasa private, no, because of that na condition na yung prioritization will not apply if you're in a locality na merong state university or
And
local
to think na ang
college.
daming higher ed institutions na dekalidad can actually serve the low-income groups. But unfortunately, they will not have access to a lot of TES slots kasi nasa isang lugar sila na may SUC, LUC. Pero again, lahat yan, no? Kaya mapag-usapan yan. Masaya tayo na nandyan si Senator Bam. So sino pa ang ating mga naiisip na, talagang very in track record-wise and then, of course, sa mga naging pronouncements, pwede tayo talagang makipagtulungan sa kanila para sa education.
Sino ba yung mga bagong papasok or returning? Si Senator Kiko, of course.
Yes.
Senator Kiko.
Yes.
I think yung yung kanyang mga advocacies noon is more on agriculture, no?
Yes.
Parang ganun,
Pero ngayon, meron siyang pinopropose na feeding program, di ba?
feeding program.
Na, again, of course, there is a feeding program. It's also a question of implementation. But this is very responsive, no? Dun sa naging finding din, na our children are malnourished or stunted. And that's huge, ha? Yung, alam mo yun, yung nagugutom yung bata. So, paano nga naman magkakaroon ng,
Yeah, tama ka. Hindi, actually, kapapasa nga lang nung, I think May 9 or May 8, yung ECCD law, amendment dun sa Early Childhood Care and Development Act na based sa recommendation ng EDCOM 2. So, ang saklaw kasi niyan, yung yung sabi niya, 0 to 8 years old. No? Ano yan pag sa mga bata, before they even reach formal school age, may pangangailangan na sila. Kasi ang sabi nga doon sa studies ng EDCOM, mahirap kung may stunting na, di ba, health problems. Talagang dehado na agad yung bata, pagpasok niya pa lang, hindi siya matututo, naggutom or malnourished. So, kailangan tutukan dun pa lang. Alam mo, ang nakikita ko ngayon because of this law, yung that now becomes parang a new subsector. Yung age range na yun. Kasi di ba dati, ang tinitingnan lang natin yung elementary, and then secondary, and then tertiary, and then higher ed. Pero ngayon, tututukan na rin talaga yung ganun pa lang, no? Before they even reach 5 years old, no? as kinder, tututukan na agad ng batas yung social welfare, health, and education ng isang bata.
Which is correct. No? Which is correct. Oo. And of course, SENPIA, no, is very likely, of course, will be proclaimed. No?
Yan din,
for
maraming education.
Actually, commissioner natin yan, no?
Yes,
sa
EDCOM.
EDCOM 2, before she had to resign, no?
Yeah, dahil nagkaroon
In order to-
napalitan ng yung
because
leadership ng Senate. No?
But it's also because he was going to campaign. Was that not the reason
No,
why?
hindi naman. Hindi naman siya kailangan mag-resign.
Ah,
But there
okay,
was a
okay.
change in the leadership,
Yeah.
mga committee.
Oo.
Napunta yata siya sa Blue Ribbon kasi.
And very strong ang advocacy rin yan for early childhood. Yan, medyo strong ang mga pronouncements niya dyan. Of course, at that time when we were discussing in EDCOM na medyo umiinit ang ulo niya no, pag pinag-uusapan yung kakulangan ng textbooks, na bakit nangyayari yan. So, very, very strong no, ang kanyang convictions towards ensuring that we solve the gaps no, in the education system.
And si Senator Pia, alam ko siya yung author nung yung student athletes welfare law. Yan ang syempre passion niya, sports, no? Athletic program. So I'm sure marami siyang naiisip, no? Lalo na ngayon everyone's talking about the learning crisis. So ano yung magagawa natin in the next 3 years? And baka hindi na kailangan hintayin matapos yung 20th Congress bago magpasa talaga ng batas, no? Kasi ang dami nangyayari talaga ngayon eh. So everyone's excited and challenged of course with what's happening.
Yeah.
Oo.
Anyway, sa akin lang, well, of course, no, we were listening to the news and in June, we expect the impeachment proceedings to
Nako, oo nga.
start, no? Parang hopefully that does not take a lot of time off from, all of these legislations that we think are urgent, no?
Bahala na sila yung mga ganong usapin siguro sila na lang, they know better. Yung mga ating nahalal na mga senador at mga congressman, tayo naman we focus on our advocacy, we push for reforms in education, and kasama yan yung political landscape. Alam mo parang tagal na rin natin ginagawa ito, no? Na minsan naisip ko nga na parang every time may mga bagong senators and congressmen, yung COCOPEA and also in many organizations, pupunta tayo sa mga offices nila, binibrief, nagpapabrief sila, no? Because education is always an issue, no? Sa bansa natin. So nagpapabrief ano ang what's the current state, ano mga kailangan. So I expect the same, no? Thing. So bago mag-open ng 20th Congress, I'm sure we'll make the rounds again, lalo na sa mga bagong halal na ating mga national leaders.
Agree. Ano lang talagang, 'di ba, parang tayo naman sa private schools, no, kasi marami dito talagang nasa private schools. We've lived with it, no?
Yes.
And always trying our best to navigate all of these changes so that we do not not serve our stakeholders, especially our learners.
And yung ang issue kasi is education. No one can be against it eh. Yun ang
Yes.
madaling parang regardless of your political inclination, affiliation. Hindi pag nag-usapan yung education, who will go against quality education? Sino mang may ayaw, no? Pero yung paraan dun talaga sa details, pero
Correct.
madali siyang i-push kasi everyone agrees and it is urgent.
Yeah.
So I think marami tayong pwedeng ma-push ngayon, no? Sana lang wag ma-disrupt nga ng mga like the impeachment and hopefully.
At saka sa akin sana, yung pananaw about education na pangkalahatan, no? Kasi, aminin na natin, minsan kasi naiiwan talaga yung private schools eh. For
Correct,
example, no one will contest na kailangan ng rationalizing ng salaries, no? Ng public school teachers para naman talagang mabigyan sila ng tamang sahod, no, given the work that they are doing. But in the process, nakakalimutan na yung private school teachers naman, dahil nga yung salaries nila ay really they're all based on the tuition and fees that are collected by the school. Actually tuition more than the fees. Very limited, no, ang pwedeng mag-i-increase ng private school. So in effect, dahil sa kagustuhan natin tulungan ang public school teachers, nagkakaroon ng unintended negative consequence
Yes.
sa mga private schools natin because of the migration. So yun ang mga nasabi natin ng COCOPEA Congress, no, in the presence of then ML nominee Erin Tanyada, si Attorney Chel was there, who's a winning akbayan congressman, na laging balansehin, no, yung paulit-ulit na complementarity, no, na pinag-uusapan natin, huwag kakalimutan. Oo.
So, okay, ganito, Doc D, kung ikaw ang tatanungin, ano yung mga tingin mo at siguro top 3 or mahababalistahan mo, you can add, ano yung pwede mong sabihin na yun ang tutukan ng ating, if you were asked that, to give your proposals or recommendations, ideas, saang area dapat mag-focus on education? Meron ko bang mga naisip na,
Okay, saan pwedeng mag-focus education? Actually, maraming problema ng education na kaya sanang isolve ng executive agencies if they are given enough budget.
Budget, I think, malaking
so
bagay yun. Oo.
kung malaki yung budget na talaga i-allocate natin sa education, then mas maraming pwedeng gawin ang education agencies, no? And mataas naman ang confidence natin sa leadership ni Secretary Sani, of course, Secretary Kiko Benitez, you have Chair Popoy. So if there's more budget, then there's work that will be done. No? And of course, very clear na ngayon, no, ang directions ng DepEd, which is really to focus on the foundational skills, no, to make sure that they will not mass promote students. I just saw the pronouncement of Secretary Sani. No? So, yun. So, budget. Yung pangalawa, dahil syempre very biased naman ako dito, talagang tutuhanin natin yung complementarity. Alam mo, tayo na nasa private schools, talagang very committed tayo na tulungan ang education system as a whole, of course. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng isa lang yung driver niyan. Obviously, may private schools tayo. So, ayusin natin yung mga batas, no, that will really operationalize complementarity. Or siguro, tulad ng proposal ng EDCOM 2, di talagang isang batas on complementarity, which is being drafted now, which is actually final. No? Final. Kailangan na lang natin ng champions niyan. No? Pero yung champions na paghahanap, medyo mahirap yan kasi, di ba nga ang misconception, private yan, wag yan tulungan. Private yan, ano yan, di ba?
Yeah. Budget,
so, dalawa pa lang nasabi ko.
Dalawa pa lang. Pero bago ko makakalimutan, yung budget is, of course, sabi ng Constitution, dapat ang pinakamataas na budget na ibibigay sa gobyerno ay sa education. So, sinusunod naman yon, no? At sabi mo nga, malayo pa tayo dun sa standards, no? Hindi lang sa bansa natin, kundi comparing with other countries. Mababa pa yung percentage ng ating GDP na nilalaan sa education. Parang mga nasa 3 or 4% lang tayo. Parang ang standard is 6. Yung iba, they exceed. No? So, medyo malayo pa tayo. So, marami ang masosolve, no? Kung tataasan ang budget for education, for sure.
At efficient use.
Of course,
efficient use of the budget.
Walang confidential funds. Teka lang.
Oo. So, yun. So, dalawa pa lang. Tapos, ito ngayon, no, merong, I think on Tuesday, actually May 20, magkakaroon ng webinar. Pinopromote ko to, NARCE. Nandito si NARCE, Executive Director ng Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines. I-feature nila ang isang study on decentralizing DepEd.
Wow, okay.
Na undertaken by several researchers, including the former Undersecretary for Finance and Administration of DepEd, that's Yusek Ray Laguda. So, makikinig tayo dyan, no, sa Tuesday. And then, i-guest natin dito live. Si Yusek Ray, pagdating niya from the US. Pumayag na po siya. So, ano yan, no? Kasi marami nang nagsasabi na talaga namang kahit gusto ng DepEd maging very efficient. Dahil masyadong malaki, baka meron tayong mga constraints doon.
Yeah, so parang ibaba yung... ano yung mga dapat na didesisyonan sa school level? Principal lang nagde-decide. Malaking bagay yan, decentralization. Kasi minsan, maganda yung mga usapan sa taas, no, central office. But when you talk about 47,000 public schools, hindi naman lahat nangyayari doon sa level ng mga schools. Alam din ng mga nasa sa central office. So, I think in many studies, mas effective yung ang nagde-decide at the school level rather than inaakyat uniform, ang decision ay nasa taas, no? Syempre hindi naman pwedeng lahat kasi we have to have standard setting din, no, for
Yes,
everyone,
correct.
for all schools. Hindi rin pwedeng kanya-kanya.
Oo.
Pero may mga bagay na dapat na didesisyonan talaga sa baba. So malaking bagay yan.
Malaking
Tuesday
bagay.
ba? Tuesday?
Tuesday, it's a webinar. I think it's a free webinar. So just check the Facebook of CAP for details. And then we will feature him live here because when I saw that he's done with that, with the research, I immediately asked him if he wanted to join us here. And of course, okay naman si former USEC, DepEd USEC Ray Laguda.
Sabi ni Edwina Arceo, of course, kasama natin to sa POPs ko, no? At kababayan mo ito, di ba?
Oo naman.
Sabi niya, hindi ako makamove on dun sa marginalized nga tayong mga private schools.
Hindi ka ba naniniwala doon, Edwina? O, di ba, tuwang-tuwa ka nga sa nanalong mayor, no, ng City of San Fernando kasi sabi mo, very sympathetic siya sa private schools. So mahalaga yan. I think I also saw a feature of EDCOM na gaano kahalaga ang LGUs sa education system, no, and reform initiatives, napakahalaga. Yes.
So, yun, I think nag-react si Edwina dahil doon sa complementarity. So, yan, malaking bagay. Actually, kung maikwento ko na rin, of course, sa COCOPEA, we're also now aligning our advocacies to the legislative calendar and our new senators and so nagsisurvey din kami. And of course, yung number one sa list namin yan, ang ipupush talaga. I think this is the best time now, of course, to push for a law on complementarity. Ito po yung batas na mag-operationalize sa constitutional principle on the complementary roles between the public and private sectors in education, composing our one Philippine education system. So nung nandun pa, bago ako umalis sa EDCOM, sinigurado ko munang natapos yung first draft, no? Na complete na doon, of course. Ano na lang yan, pinaganda pa lalo at pinalakas. But alam ko, tapos na yan, no? So we worked hard for it under, of course, si Dr. Vince Fabella also, yung part of the advisory council. And pag-usapan na rin yan sa level ng EDCOM commissioners. So hopefully, mai-file yung batas. Ito, pagbukas ng ating 20th Congress. And of course, COCOPEA will help push, no, for the enactment of that bill into a law. Ayan. So, dalawa ka pa lang. Meron ko pa ba naisip? Ako, meron na marami akong naisip
sige nga. Pero top 3 lang, sabi mo.
Top 3 lang. Of course, yung nasa listahan mo, nandun din sa listahan ko. Pero, ang isa pa, I think we have to come up with a law on making stakeholders in education accountable. No? Not only those who are stakeholders of schools, kundi pati yung ating mga regulators and government agencies, so that they also know how they are, no, in how they are performing their functions and powers under the law. Kasi lahat tayo dapat accountable, di ba? So halimbawa katulad niyan na nagkaroon ng data on illiteracy, functional illiteracy, hindi natin alam, no? Kung hindi naman magtuturuan, pero dapat nalalaman natin saan nagkukulang. So merong pinag-uusapan dyan yung assessment body, pag-create ng assessment body, titingnan how these players or stakeholders in education perform their role. So yun ang isa, I think kailangan magkaroon ng batas dyan to balance yung mga pagtingin natin, no, sa mga regulasyon, pag-implement ng batas. Making parents accountable also for the education of their children at not totally depending on the government, no? Parang it will also reinforce yung sinasabi nga ni Secretary Sani na dapat walang pass-all policy.
Yeah.
So talagang ang implication nun is ibig sabihin dapat hindi kayo umasa, lalo na sa public schools. Huwag kayong umasa na wala kayong gagawin, papasa kayo. So may responsibilidad ng parents. Actually, sa Constitution natin, education is the primary right and duty of the parents. Hindi ng gobyerno. Supportive lang ng gobyerno. So I think that will now also change, di ba? The landscape in education. So, yan. And then pangalawa.
Medyo revolutionary.
Reform talagang it will be it will talk about reforms. I think that's parang a different way of looking at things. Nakasanayan natin kasi. Pangalawa, I think more on naririnig ko rin to sa mga pag-uusap, pakikipag-usap ko sa mga teachers din. Protection, more also on teacher protection, ensuring that they are protected in their role in the society also. No? Ayan. Dalawa lang din muna sa akin kasi dalawa lang bigay.
Pero nag-react dito si si Edwina. Sabi niya, yes, only in San Fernando that the local government is really most supportive to private schools. Buti na lang may school din ako sa San Fernando. Pero marami namang local government officials na supportive din sa private. At nakita natin yan, no? So, very important din yung LGU elections. At if the private schools are organized, no, at the city level, at the provincial level or regional level, sila dapat ang kumakausap, no, dito sa mga officials natin at these different levels para magka-advocacy for this. For example, noong nagkakaroon ng discussions, no, between the PAC and the Pasig City government, very very admirable at nanalo naman, no, ng si Mayor Vico Soto, no, ng isa pang term, yung kanilang paniniwala na kung may overflow ng students sa City College of Pasig, hindi sila mag-expand ng City College but magbibigay sila ng scholarships sa mga Pasig City private HEIs. Sabi ko, yun ang modelo, no? Na talagang mag-operationalize ng complementarity kasi hindi pwede yung talagang tayo ng tayo ng mga government schools when in fact there already are high-performing, no? Private na pwedeng maging recipients ng government scholarships.
Kaya lang wala nag-enroll, 'di ba? So sayang naman yung spaces na sa private schools, magagamit 'yan ng sana through through government o local government scholarships. Pero alam mo, ako may isa pa akong issue sa mga local governments. So bukod diyan, alam mo yung halimbawa yung mga local taxes, no, na pinapataw sa ating mga private schools, no. Dapat kasi hindi dapat considered na business ang eskwelahan, no. So I think yun ang laging apila namin.
Dapat ba dyan batas? Para
kasi
yan,
ang tax codes kasi ng bawat locality, kanya-kanya sila. Pero I think it is common in local governments na yung pag kinlasify mo yung mga businesses sa isang lokal, hindi siya yung school is not one of them. So hindi siya nasa subject sa tax. So usually yan mayor's permit ang ina-apply, hindi business permit. Kaya lang may mga localities pa rin, may mga cities na sila subject pa rin sa business permit. So mag-a-appeal yung eskwelahan na kasi yung business permit parang magbabayad ka ng parang equivalent ng tax, parang local imposition siya. A certain percentage of your income or revenue. Halimbawa, ikaw ay non-stock, non-profit, no? At exempt ka na nga sa national taxes. Tapos papatawan ka ng buwis ng city or municipality. Parang unfair naman, no? Or kung mayor's permit naman, pero ang taas-taas naman ng mga garbage collection fee, yung mga sanitary permit, ganun din, no? So, taon-taon yan ang mga reklamo na nakakarating sa akin at sa amin sa Cocopea, reklamo ng mga private schools. At alam mo, may isa pa. Ewan ko kung may makaka-relate dito sa mga nakikinig sa atin. Alam niyo yung mga eskwelahan na nasa loob ng mga subdivisions, private subdivisions.
May homeowners pa.
Na homeowners, nahihirapan sila. Halimbawa, re-repair lang ng kanilang facilities or laging nakabantay yung, lalo na yung mga village na homeowners association na kasi sinisisi sila sa traffic. Kasi nasa loob ng subdivision. So, hingi ka ng tulong sa barangay, hingi ka ng tulong sa city, parang hindi, kailangan dumaan talaga kayo sa homeowners association. Pero sa akin, alam niyo yung traffic, hindi makasalanan ng school yan. Pangalawa, education, schools yung mag-ooperate. I think we have also to sacrifice, no? To a certain extent, to give way for general welfare, no? Through the operation of our schools. Di ba nga bawal ang school sa mga commercial establishments kaya dapat nilalapit siya sa communities. Talagang kaya karamihan ng schools nasa loob ng subdivision, malapit sa mga residential areas because school should be there, no? Not near malls. And 'di ba bawal nga yan, may batas, 'di ba?
Naku, daming problema
Daming
dyan.
problema.
Oo, kasi...
Sa local government,
Oo,
oo.
hindi kasi... totoo naman, if you are living in the subdivision and you know you have to suffer from the traffic, no, because there's a school located there. Kaya nga very, very important siguro yung pananaw na education is a public good.
Yes,
'Di ba?
yes,
Kumbaga
oo.
parang yung mga eskwelahan na nandyan, ang ginagawa nila ay hindi lamang para sa kanila, kundi para din sa mga sa buong, buong community, buong bansa. But having said that, I think what's also important for the school is to prove also that they have
deserve,
quality.
yeah,
They have quality programs. Kasi, syempre, di ba, hindi mo rin naman masisi no, yung ganong klaseng concern, no, coming from the homeowners. But, again, it's I don't know why we cannot live together in peace and harmony.
Yeah, kasi
Pwede yun.
that's the essence of of police power, promoting the public good, the general welfare. That is the essence of police power, pag-exercise ng government of promoting general welfare, that the private citizens should surrender a certain extent of their convenience, no, to give way to the public good. That's the essence of it. So, kaya nga, alam mo may mga schools na cities, localities na very supportive. Mapapansin mo pag may malapit na eskwelahan, kahit public street yan or road, they close it or sino yung pinibigyan ng priority na makadaan. No? Halimbawa, magulang, nag-ahatid, or certain hours in a school day, talagang they really prioritize students. Makikita mo di ba? Kung nasaan ang puso ng leadership ng isang locality.
Diba, dito si Senon Aragon, sabi niya, dito po sa amin, sa Oriental Mindoro, ay may professional tax ang private school teachers.
Yeah, yan. Actually, sabihin ko sana kanina yan.
Pwede ba yun?
Dapat hindi. Kasi alam mo yung professional tax, halimbawa, sa amin lawyers, we apply for PTR, professional tax receipt. Kasi kami, we exercise our profession na hindi kami nag-empleyado. Doctors, dentists, etc. Pero yung teacher na nagtuturo, although professional siya, empleyado siya Empleyado siya dun sa school. So dapat hindi siya dapat nire-require ng PTR. Kasi hindi naman siya nagpa-practice independently as a professional na collecting fees, issuing receipts.
Pero
hindi
tax
naman
na siya, right? May tax na siya.
Kaya nga, kasi may
Dahil
tax na siya. Withholding tax, empleyado na siya Oo. So, yun ang din ang actually pakiusap.
Ito naman, si Lailani Gamban. Thank you, attorney, for mentioning that business permit and mayor's permit. In Las Piñas, even during the pandemic, online classes, walang on-site, grabe ang sanitary fee hindi binaba. Only Pasig City ang nag-waive ng business permit during the pandemic.
Correct, oo. Kasi nga, yung mayor's permit, so hindi ka magbabayad ng tax. Yung cost lang ng service, garbage collection, sanitary, etc. Pero yung rate ng fees na yon, dapat hindi rin siya masyadong malaki na parang para ka na rin na tax. Yun ang sinasabi ng mga schools dapat ang sabi ng jurisprudence, maraming kaso na rin po ng Supreme Court ang sinasabi, dapat yung mga sinisingil ng LGUs reasonable. And what is reasonable is only within the cost of the service. Dapat hindi mag-profit yung LGU diyan. Dapat hindi kumuha ng share sa revenues ng establishment, kung ang china-charge ay yung cost of the service lamang. So, laging apila yan ng mga schools Kasi, halimbawa, garbage collection, garbage fee, tapos nakabase siya sa number of employees per square meter doon sa eskwelahan. Parang, di ba? Kawawa naman
Ito, hindi ko babanggitin ang pangalan niya, pero siya naman ang nag-comment na yung ex-mayor po namin, na traffic lang siya, dahil may event kami sa school, gusto na niyang ipasarang school namin. Buti na lang, natalo po siya sa election. So, naman, power trip naman niya.
Pero alam mo, yan. Pero sa kabilang banda, may marami na ako nakausap ng mga mayors na, malaking pasalamat nila na merong private school sa city nila. Kasi, una, nakakatulong sa trabaho. Di ba? Maraming nakakapagtrabaho doon na constituents nila. Tapos buhay na buhay ang local economy. Kasi may nag-aaral doon na galing sa ibang lugar. Tuwing pumupunta doon, syempre, they avail of the services, establishments in the city. And hindi lang yun, it provides education to their constituents na without government, local government putting its own. Pero bihira yung ganung pag-iisip na eh.
Yes.
Siyempre, lagi naisip ng kung mayor ka, tatayo ako ng sarili namin.
Yes.
Di ba? Yan. So,
Kaya nga natuwa ako doon nung kikipag-usap kami sa Pasig City kasi ayaw na lang ipangalan sa sarili nila yung scholarship program. Sabi ko, iba kayo mag-isip ha? Kasi mostly yung iba, halos gagawa ng paraan para yung pangalan nila pumasok sa programa. No?
yeah, oo nga, natatandaan ko yan, yung pag-uusap. Sana matuloy na this time. Ano?
Well, natuloy naman yung program no, na it's being run now. But we still are in communication with them para kung paano pa natin matulungan to improve. No? Kasi nakinabang talaga ang mga private HEIs dun sa programa ng Pasig City. So dito, ito, Attorney Erap. Ikaw, tatanungin kita. Ang daming problema ng mga teachers, ang daming problema ng mga schools, pero parang walang nanalong party list sa education.
Oo nga,
Meron
no?
ba?
Parang wala eh. Parang, ewan ko.
Parang meron ba?
Kasi,
'Di ba? Kasi yun no, so pupunta tayo ngayon sa party list. Pag titingnan natin yung mga party list, syempre akbayan no, talagang wow, lakas ng showing no. At kinongratulate ko nga yung naging bisita natin no, si former Secretary Ronald Llamas no, na lakas ng akbayan. At sabi ko nga yung sinasabi natin na baka kulang sa political education ang kabataan, baka hindi rin naman. Baka hindi rin lang nasa eskwelahan. Nakuha no yung kanilang political education if we feel the curriculum is there are gaps in the curriculum. But having said that, may mga advocacies ba ito for education? Like nakita ko ang lakas ng Tingog, ang lakas ng Duterte Youth. Lahat ba yan will have a space no in their advocacies ang ating education system?
I'm sure may puwang ang education for any organization that advocates for the poor and the marginalized. Kasi yan ang common sa mga party list. They're supposed to be representing the marginalized sector. No, so laging merong space for that. I think ang limitation is kaya konti lang din yung nag-advocate for education because it also requires technical knowledge, di ba? You have to be academically inclined no, to propose something. Na hirap mag-propose kung hindi ka part ng academe, you're not familiar in operation of schools. Pero yan ang trabaho ng mga grupo no, katulad ng COCOPEA and other organizations and associations of schools. Kami nga ako more than 20 years na ako nag-a-appear sa Kongreso at sa Senado, repeating all the same thing no, every year and every Congress no. So mukhang paano nga kaya ngayon parang walang very specific na party list for education. So
pero hindi naman ako nag-lose hope because of course Akbayan, we are sure will help out in education advocacies. Tingog, nakakausap din natin no si Congressman Asidre
yes,
no, nakasama rin natin sa EDCO. Magaganda rin yung ideas niya no, especially for complementarity. I think they will carry these advocacies naman.
And I think compared to a decade ago, yung ngayon yung awareness education mas mataas, di ba? Everyone's concerned now. Lalo na pag pinag-usapan yung crisis. So mas madaling magkakaintindihan no kasi meron ng common understanding of the problem. Kaya lang sobrang dami talaga. Kaya kailangan talagang tutukan. Yes. Teka, merong mga comments dito. Sabi ni Lailani Gamban, insignificant number po ng mga private school teachers kaya walang help from politicians. Ramdam po namin noong pandemic. So, well, yan, naririnig ko rin yan. But, pero in fairness, marami rin talagang during the pandemic lalo na, no, maraming sympathetic sa private schools kasi nagsasarahan bigla no. So parang tumaas din yung awareness ng totoong plight ng private schools. But yeah, correct. It's always a numbers when we talk about politics who delivers the vote.
But I think naman, but not only that but pinag-usapan natin dito yung Special Education Fund. 'Di ba? Ang dami rin nating kausap na gusto sana pag nagpa-training isasama yung private school teachers. Ako hindi yan pwede.
Because of the law.
The SEF, hindi yan pwede yung Commission on Audit, will question. So, merong mga ganun silang restrictions. Even DepEd, pagkausap namin, ang mga undersecretaries dyan, gusto talaga nila nakasama ang ang private school teachers, lalo na kung roll out ng isang bagong curriculum. Tama lang naman na mag-train tayo, both public and private. Pero of course, magkakaroon na naman ng constraints dahil sa... So, paano ba? SEF na naman. Kailangan yatang i-amend yung local government code. But how come it's not being done?
Oo. Yeah, pero medyo nabawasan na kasi napag-usapan na medyo nabawasan na yung mga restrictions, medyo lumuwag na rin. Dati kasi very conscious, no? Paggagastos for education involving the private sector, parang very conservative because of ang laging war is COA. Actually, anong mga hearing noon sa Congress at saka sa Senate, madalas akong nakikipagtalo. Hindi naman nakikipag-away. Pagtalo when I push for support to the private schools, private school teachers, especially in the pandemic, ang laging i-raise is public money shall be used for public purposes. And I always say, when you spend it for education, regardless whether there's an incidental benefit to a private institution, that is still for the public. Kasi education is a public good, no? Yun ang lahat.
But parang hindi pa kasi yan na-embrace ng marami, no? Kasi kahit, for example, pag nagdi-discuss tayo ng vouchers, gano'n na naman. Ang sasabihin nila, bakit natin tinutulungan ang mga private schools? Ang lagi namin sinasabi, ang tinutulungan muna natin ay mga estudyante na nasa private schools na kung hindi ho natin bibigyan ng subsidiya, sila ho ay pupunta sa public schools, therefore fully funded by government.
And of course, an educated citizenry is always in the interest of the government, of the state. No? So, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na just because nag-benefit ang private institution, na-violate niya na yung government money shall be used for public purposes. Hindi po. Marami ng Supreme Court decisions din na nagsasabi na hindi porke may incidental benefit sa isang pampribadong tao o institution, ibig sabihin hindi na siya for public good. Mandaming batas na ipapasa na nagbe-benefit ang private sector, pero hindi ibig sabihin nun diba?
Pero gusto ko yan, yung sinabi mo, an educated citizenry will actually benefit the entire nation, obviously, right? So do we have an educated citizenry given the results of the elections?
Well, educated pero illiterate. Merong access, merong opportunity to go to school, pero I think kailangan talaga nating tutukan to ensure na quality education, and we have to be interested in the outcomes of our students. So, kalimutan na natin yung dati na may nagsusulong na access muna bago quality. Hindi ako maniwala dun eh. Bibigay ka rin lang ng access to education, make sure that education is quality, di ba?
Well, hindi ko nga alam kung nagkamali lang yun eh.
Hindi, paulit-ulit yun.
Yeah, because, di ba, yun lang, Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. Obviously, there's Q. No, the letter Q, no, in the act itself, in the title of the law. So, obviously, pag edukasyon, hindi fly by night or substandard. Definitely, quality education.
Ay nako. So maraming kakaharapin yung ating mga incoming legislators, and of course local government executives, chief executives ng ating mga local government units. Hindi, lalo na ngayong panahon na ito. And education should be one of the top in their agenda.
That's true.
Oo. Hindi pwedeng wala ka eh. I think parang ma-out of place, parang wala kang masasabi for education eh.
Pero
problem.
Meron mga sa akin, no? May mga silver lining akong nakita, no? Lalo na dito sa senatorial elections, no? Na, for example, no, parang hindi makapaniwala ang marami na hindi mananalo yung mga celebrities, no? Na tumakbo. And in fact, in the election surveys, ang tataas nila. 'Di ba? And yet natalo nga sila dito sa election. So I think it speaks volumes, no?
There's hope, ibig sabihin.
About how there was some discernment, no, that was done by several of us who are eligible to vote dito sa ating pagpili ng ating mga senatorial.
So I think talagang malaking bagay yung we call out each other, no, yung lalo na yung magising naman tayo, wag na tayong piliin natin mabuti yung iboboto natin. I think nakatulong yun, and it shows, no, sa outcome ng I think itong last elections.
No offense, no, to those who are in the entertainment industry, no. Pero ang ano kasi talaga natin dito is yung trabaho ng senador ay gumawa ng batas, maging oversight sa implementation ng maraming mga batas. Kung hindi ho tayo handa para dito at the only thing that is going for us is that tayo ay sikat. We should naman, it's a disservice to the nation kasi kung we're just using our popularity when in fact, there are others who can contribute better.
Tama. And of course, marami naman din talaga nagmamahal sa bayan at assuming nagtotoo and sincero sila at may pagmamahal sa bayan, hindi rin naman sapat yung pagmamahal lamang kasi merong technical skill involved, yung paggawa ng batas, no? And we've seen that kahit yung mga dati ng mga senador na magagaling, masisipag, but even that alone, you realize, no, when you look back and look at the implementation of the law, sometimes the letter of the law, how it was crafted, how it was enacted, no, and deliberated, malaking bagay yun because it requires skill. Kaya nga daming abogado rin sa staff ng mga senators because it requires a particular skill. So hindi enough ang puso at pagmamahal lamang sa bayan.
Pero yung puso at pagmamahal sa bayan, hindi ka naman kailangan maging senador para maipakita mo ang pagmamahal mo sa bayan. Kasi ang daming paraan. No,
sino ba tinutukoy mo?
Hindi, marami. I always say, you have education, you have foundations, you have NGOs,
correct.
You have all of those civil servants na araw-araw nagtatrabaho para patakbuhin ang gobyerno. Hindi ba nagmamahal din sila sa bayan? No? So sa akin, may lugar kasi tayo in the scheme of things, I would imagine. So sa akin, very positive yung ganong nangyari kasi palagi ko marami talagang nakapag-isip. At ina-attribute ito Of course, merong mga nag-contest na mas marami kasi ngayon na Gen Z at millennials na bumoto. I think naging sila, para silang they move the needle. No, in that sense. Kasi ito yung mga bata na media savvy, na talagang SOCMED. Siguro ang kanilang, it's really, they were born into this. And then third, they're also very discerning, no? Hindi umaandar sa kanilang mga troll armies.
Yes.
Hindi yung disinformation, alam nila kung it's a disinformation or misinformation or it's a very very systematic campaign against someone. Talagang they call it out, no?
Yes.
So sabi ko, ito very positive sa akin to. Alam mo, like Heidi Mendoza, I always say, I in fact congratulated her. 8 million voters.
Yeah.
Na mas mataas pa siya than si Manny Pacquiao. And to think na wala siyang makinarya, wala siyang pera, and then first time yung tumakbo.
Yes.
Diba? Ang laki nun, na may ganun klaseng naging result. And when she was telling her story, no, in Facts First, how the youth were the ones na nagvo-volunteer, hindi kumain, namasahe mag-isa, diba? Para ikampanya siya, kumukuha ng tarpaulin ng iba at susulatan sa likod.
Oo. Alam mo, napakaganda ng mga ganong stories. So, there's hope, no? Pero balikan ko lang, Doris, yung sinabi mo na yung sinasabi na hindi ka kailangan maging senador para makatulong. Alam mo, naririnig natin yan lagi, no? Ang akala nung iba, pag sinabi yon, it's just a nice way of saying, wag ka nang tumakbo. Wag ka na lang tumakbo. But yun lang naman yun. But alam mo, sa totoo, that's a real na kung gusto mo makatulong, hindi ka kailangan maging senador, ibig sabihin nun, marami kang pwedeng magawa. Napakalaki ng pangangailangan ng mabubuting tao at marami kang paraan may isip para makatulong. Halimbawa ikaw, Doris, I'm just saying, this is just an example. Halimbawa ikaw, Doris, you're in PAC. Hindi ka naman kailangan tumakbo, but what you're doing now, parang that's diba, you're doing something. You're occupying a space in the sector that you have created on your own. I mean, it's not just about the position kasi the PAC, executive director, marami na rin naman ng mga iba. But when you do something na out of passion and advocacy, I think you don't need really to be in the national stage, di ba?
Well, hindi lang yung national stage. Ako kasi yung senators, 24 lang yan sa buong bansa. Diba? And kahit gaano sila kagaling, let's give them that no? Na talagang magagaling, nakakasulat ng magagandang batas, sino mag-implement?
Yeah.
Alam mo yung executive, napakalaki ng pangangailangan dyan ng talagang maayos na executives para i-implement ang mga batas, no?
Kung lahat ng may pagmamahal sa bayan senador lahat, di wala nang lahat gagawa ng batas, wala mag-implement. So lahat tayo meron tayong pwedeng maitulong. Ako in my own little way, hindi na ako matapos-tapos sa
Sa mga
pagle-lecture, pagte-train,
Yeah.
inform sa kanila,
Oo.
kanilang reinforcing their legal knowledge. Sa akin, doon pa lang ako. Okay na ako doon. Kayo na yung sa mga ibang bagay. Ako may magagawa ako. I'm sure yung mga hindi nakapasok no sa Magic 12, marami pa po kayong pwedeng gawin
Hindi,
para
actually sa akin,
makatulong.
alam mo, palagi ko sinasabi, yun ang test eh. Yung hindi ka nanalo, and yet, magsisilbi ka pa rin.
Tama.
Diba? Yun, i-test sa akin yan eh. Hindi yung after elections, wala na. Dahil hindi ka nanalo, wala na. Tahimik ka na.
Nakikilala ka lang kapag kampanya na. But anyway, 8:05 na, Doris.
Marami
Kulang
pa
na
bang
tayo
ano
sa
doon? Marami pa bang mga ano dyan? Mga usual suspects na maingay? Usual suspects naman tong mga to eh.
Educate the Filipino youth, sabi ni Marlu. Of course, kasama natin sa Napsville. No?
Why don't you run for Senator, Attorney Estrada? Oo.
Nako, agad to?
Para magkaroon ng boses ang private schools.
Ma-oppose agad to. Nuisance candidate. Sabi, another Estrada.
Oo.
Wag na.
Hindi nga
baka-
makapaniwala na Estrada ang apelido mo at era pang pangalan mo, di ba? Pero palay mo, bentahe yun, di ba? That is something that is positive. Kasi alam mo ako talaga, kaya ako natutuwa doon sa nangyari kay Heidi Mendoza. Kasi ang hirap lumaban ngayon ng walang pera. Alam natin yan from the
Correct.
beginning, di ba? Kasi wala kang pang TV ads and all. Aba, social media talaga. This is the biggest game changer for those who do not have funds
Correct.
to run.
Actually, merong supporting jurisprudence. Kasi dati, kapag ikaw ay walang kakayanan na mag-campaign, sumabak sa national campaign and you're running for a national office, katulad ng senador, ikaw ay madedeclare na nuisance candidate kasi wala kang kakayanan. Pero not naman recently, but ang leading case niyan now is ang sabi ng Supreme Court in one case, sabi niya hindi na yan batayan kasi pag sinabi mong launching a national campaign, social media,
Yes,
ang dami na.
national
So,
agad yun,
hindi mo
yes.
kailangan ng ganong resources na makapupuntahan mo bawat region sa Pilipinas. So sabi ng Supreme Court, hindi na yan hindi pwedeng ma-declare ka na nuisance candidate on that
Because of
ground
that
because of
criterion,
social
yeah.
media. Ang dami ng paraan ngayon. So yung mga it's
Actually, yun din naman ang pinanggagalingan natin, di ba?
Oh.
Kasi, syempre, wala namang magpo-produce ng show natin. Di ba? Wala namang kukuha sa atin. Di ba? At walang show na magde-dedicate purely on education. So, and because of social media, so we can do this. We can do this.
Yes.
We can have this conversation with all of you, even if we're not there in person. Kasi, actually, nung pandemic ko, super na-appreciate talaga Na parang, ang galing, no? Parang isang beses ka lang mag-webinar or Zoom meeting. Aparito holo. Kausap mo na,
oo.
di ba?
Tsaka hindi mo naman kailangan na millions agad ang At ibig sabihin ko talagang ikaw ay pinakikinggan. Kahit ilan lang yan. Ako laging yun ang sinasabi ko. Pag nagsasalita ako, umikot ako sa mga schools, meron lang kahit isa o dalawa na talagang seseryosohin yung advocacy and will also follow me and help me in what I'm doing. My job is done. No? Diba? Ganun lang
Actually,
naman.
naalala ko, Attorney Estrada, kasi halos nagsabay tayo nun sa CAP, no? Ikaw yung lawyer namin, tapos ako yung sa executive director. Siyempre kasama natin nun sa National Advocacy Commission, ha? Si Armin Luistro was there, hindi pa siya deputy secretary. Joel Tabora was
Yes,
there.
oo.
He was president of Ateneo de Naga then. And then we had all of this, Tony Moreno was
Yes.
there, Johnny Miranda. And then doon ko talaga natutunan yung usaping education advocacies. No?
Correct.
And then we went to a conference on advocacy. At ang naging ang pin dun sa conference ay every educator an advocate. Kaya yun siguro ang ko sa lahat ng nandito ngayon. No? Nandito si Royce, nandito si Dwina, si Marlu. Lahat kayo advocate. At nakikita ko yan. Alam mo, pag nakikita ko yung mga post ni Marlu, for example, nag-advocacy work na naman to.
Oo.
But that's correct, no? Because every educator is an advocate.
Yes. Ako, tama. Ako, pareho tayo. Yung advocate, doon ko talaga na-embrace yung how it is to be an advocate and the advocacy itself, no? Embracing it. Sabi nga, di ba, advocacy comes from the Latin word na advocare, which is to take cudgels, no? Yung ganun din diyan din ang galing ang term na abogado, di ba?
Galing.
Kaya,
Oo,
pero
yun
tinan
talaga.
mo related sila, and then vocation, di ba? Ang sabi nga is education, being a teacher, being an educator is a vocation. Yung vocation naman is vocare, calling, di ba? At ibig sabihin, you are called to be a teacher and educator. So alam mo lahat yan nagtagpo, no, because of how we were introduced to this sector.
Yes.
So
And we worked with this really, very passionate and committed at talagang selfless, no? Alam mo, minsan kasi parang hindi ka naniniwala sa servant leadership. Anong maniwala ho kayo? Meron talaga tayong mga tunay na servant leaders na talagang hindi ang sarili ang kanilang, not selfish interests, but really the interest of the common good, no? And the marginalized.
So siguro yan ang isang magandang take away na when we choose our leaders, the next time we choose our leaders, idagdag nyo na sa qualification yon. Malaking bagay kung siya ay advocate of something, of something good. Kasi yung advocate, ibig sabihin hindi siya pinilit doon, hindi siya talagang out of passion and out of it comes with character of a person. Minsan na-develop yan because of experience, paano siya na-expose. Kasi pag advocacy mo yan, kahit saan ka pa dalahin, dala-dala mo yun. At malaking bagay yun.
Yun lagi sinasabi ko, yung track record, napakahalaga. Like ko sinasabi, for example, siyempre si VP Lenny, no, alam na natin lahat na she was a lawyer for marginalized sectors, no? Bago siya nagpolitika. So sabi ko, tingnan niyo nasaan yung tao bago siya tumakbo para makita natin ano ba talaga ang buhay nitong tao to, what does she stand for, ano ang mga values niya, ano talaga ang very passionate siya about before siya nag-run into, run for office, no?
Ang kabaliktaran ng advocate, yung kung saan-saan na lang, magugulat ka, teka, ang expertise ito, ganito, bakit? So, depende siya nilalagay. Sa political appointee lang yon. So, serving at the pleasure of the appointing authority. Of course, that's also important. Pero pag wala kang dinadalang advocacy na very specific, parang hindi masyadong yan makakatulong sa bansa. Anyway,
pero one last. Alam mo ba, Erab? So dahil nga pinanindigan natin yung advocacy work, no? So inaral ko yan. So naghanap ako ng mga literature on public policy and advocacy. At nakita ko na one of the indicators that we are succeeding in advocacy work is when we are called for meetings.
Yes.
Diba? In order to discuss policies or probably Senate or congressional hearings or when we are consulted, diba, by different sectors, sabi ko, that is an indication of success in advocacy work. So sabi ko, okay, parang sumakses naman. Ang Kokopeya, diba, sumakses naman ang CAP, PACU, AXCO, PAC, kasi napapatawag, no?
Correct.
Natatanong. Nako-consult.
Kasi pag may advocacy ka, there is also consistency. Diba? Hindi mababago yan. Kahit ano pang ibig sabihin, there's pressure, there's political pressure, or whatever. Pag ikaw ay meron kang advocacy, tatayuan mo yan. No? So whether it's popular now or you will be consistent. No? Okay.
Oo. Kaya nga, di ba, ang joke natin noon, Father Joel Tabora, gigest ka rin namin dito soon.
Yeah.
Sabi namin si Father Joel, alam mo, pagkakwentuhan mo yan, talagang ang lalim ng usapan. Pero parang pagdating sa dulo, complementarity.
Complementarity.
Kahit anong pinag-usapan niya pagdating sa dulo, complementarity.
Yeah. So I think lalo ding maging exciting itong ating usapang, Ed, kasi magbubukas yung 20th Congress at pag-uusapan natin dito sa platform na to, anong mga developments, no? Anong mga babantayan natin, tingnan natin, anong mga unang bills ang ipa-file ng ating mga bagong senador. Bantayan natin at pag-usapan natin dito. At pag na-file yan, ay i-monitor natin. Sali natin ang ating mga followers at viewers sa usapan.
So don't forget to follow us, to like on Facebook, and subscribe
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Oo.
Okay. Alam mo, nakuha mo na ba yung invitation ng CAP-NCR for July
Yes, yes.
30?
Oo, kasama tayo. No?
Nakakatawa yun. Mag-uusapang ed tayo sa isang assembly
Yay.
ng NCR schools ng CEAP. So,
Ay, hindi ko alam ano bang setup no, sa parang ganito.
yeah, nandun sila. Naka-assemble sila. About, 500 to 800 of them. And then, nandun tayo. Mag-uusapang ed tayo. Maganda yan.
O siya. So, alam mo, maganda rin minsan ganito. Dalawa lang tayo, no?
Okay, alam mo, we'll be very honest with you, ha? Wala hong script ito. Hindi ko kami nag-script dito.
Parang tayong tsaka naipon, tagal natin di nagkita. But our discussion has always been this way. Minsan, kikita kami ni Dory, sabi namin, kakape, kasama yung aming
tas
mga
naging
kaibigan. Pero usapang ed pa rin yung usapang trabaho pa rin, usapang education. Because
It's what
we
binds.
do it, not
It's what binds, oo.
because it's not work, because it's advocacy.
Oo.
Okay, so...
Wow, may pa-parting, parting words. Oo, parang sinadya niya.
Maraming salamat sa pagsama sa amin ulit.
8:15 na, grabe,
No?
overtime.
Overtime na
As
tayo.
usual.
And maraming
Maraming nang nagsasabi na kulang ang 1 hour.
kulang ang 1 hour, lalo na pag may guest. So abangan niyo po ang aming mga guests, ha? Naka-line up na.
Naka-line up na at ilalabas natin yan on Monday. Meron tayong Kumusta Ka Na Teach. Dalawang teachers ang ini-invite natin. One from the public school, one from the private school. So gusto natin silang kumustahin. Lalo na't mag-uumpisa na naman, no? Ang pakikibaka natin bilang mga guro on June 16.
Basta ako, wishlist ko, si Kong Roman, si Senator
Sec
Bam.
Kiko, Sen Bam, of course, Sec Sunny.
Sana bago maging busy sila, lalo na, no? Kasi pag open na naman ang new Congress, mabibusy na. Sana makuha natin sila bago mabusy ang
So,
lahat.
si Congressman Laila. Tanong, Kong Laila, nasan ba kami dyan? Sa
Si
ML.
Kong Shell, joke, no? Ayan, marami rin I'm for sure maraming ideas on education. So anyway, maraming salamat ulit sa pagsama sa amin for more than an hour. So okay na ba tayo, Doris? Wala ka bang pahabol?
Wala, marami daw
Wala
lagi
na.
silang natututunan sa atin. Very meaningful and very empowering.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo
Okay,
lahat.
salamat.
Okay, of course, nakasama na naman natin si Doc D.
May na naman. Nakasama ko na naman. Si Attorney E. Kasi pag wala siya, hindi to ed.
Oh, hindi to Ed.
Oo, diba?
Dito
Okay.
sa
Usapang Ed.
Ed. Yay!